2025 meeting of the Planning Board. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
indivisible,
indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
The Town of Burlington will be holding the April 17th, 2025 meeting as a hybrid meeting. The governor issued an executive order on March 12th, 2020, authorizing remote meetings under GLC 30A, Section 20, and extended by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, including permitting remote meetings and participation until June 30th, 2027. We do have one member of the board remote, so we will be taking a roll call for any votes.
And as always, members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting, but note that while an option for remote attendance is being provided, the meeting will not be suspended if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast. Those seeking to attend remotely may do so via the following: townofburlington.webex.com is the URL. The meeting number or access code is 2337-092-7984, and the meeting password is 1645. You can join by phone at 617-315-0704. We are being broadcast on the BCAT government channel. You can find it on Comcast 99, RCN 15, Verizon 41. We are streamed on Facebook Live via the BCAT government page, and if you're looking to participate remotely, please raise your hand in the WebEx, and staff will send you a request to unmute at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Liz. Our next item on the agenda is board reorganization, but in effort to follow our rules and regulations, we'll be waiting until we have another member of the board present. So if I could get a motion to table the item.
Motion to table item 2?
Second.
Rappaport?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
LaRue?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Natola?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is,
Public participation?
yeah, well, I was going to say 6-0. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
The next item on the agenda is public participation. Is there anyone in the audience or online who's here to speak on an item that is not on our agenda this evening? Those wishing to speak, please identify yourself for the record. All participants are given a strict 3-minute maximum. Not seeing anyone here.
Don't see anyone.
No one online. Okay, announcements.
So this upcoming Monday, April 21st, is Patriots Day, and town offices will be closed. And then next Saturday, the 26th, is a busy day here in Burlington. You have from 9 in the morning to noon, you have shredding day in the town hall parking lot. And then from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., you have the Burlington Community Health Fair, which will be at Burlington High School. And then the Public Arts Committee will be meeting Monday, April 28th at 8 a.m., and that is via WebEx.
Do any members have any other announcements? None? Okay. Legal notices of interest, none. Non-approvals, none. Administrative matters, none. We'll move on to matters of appointment.
We can do that.
Okay. Item A is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 4.2.6.2, convenience store of the zoning bylaws, 232 Cambridge Street. Victoria Meat Market is the applicant. Who is here on behalf of this item?
Davison,
Can you say your full name for the record?
Davison Dos Santos.
Okay. Okay. Staff or the applicant?
Sure, so this is, we have a kind of a change of ownership situation. So Raja, this is in the former site of Raja and Rana's market down in the town center. And it is been bought by Victoria Meat Market, and they're looking to take it over. And it's in the town center, therefore it's for convenience store, it's a special permit use, but staff does not have concerns at this time.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share about the item that you're here for? Or do you think that pretty much covers it?
Regarding the location, the new location,
Yeah, or tell us a little bit about the addition of the meat market. It sounds like, if I'm correct, it's a Brazilian meat market, is that
Brazilian
correct?
Meat Market,
Okay.
correct. Yes. So we're gonna, as be a convenience store, we're gonna just change the Indian product to Brazilian. So we're still gonna have similar products like rice and beans, vegetables, additional with the meat. So you're gonna have like a meat cut in the back, so, and gonna sell some chickens, the meat. That's the only addition you're gonna do then.
Great. Let's see if any members have any questions. Start with Brenda.
Yep, hi.
Yeah.
Will you have a dedicated dumpster for any waste products or any, meat, any excess meat or expired meat?
So,
What does that look like?
the scraps,
Yeah,
the company who come clean the box, the grease box, they come like a twice a month. So we save all the scrap, we freeze them, and you give to them when they come, and they take with them.
and excuse my ignorance, what's the difference between a Brazilian meat market? I mean, is there something special about a Brazilian meat market, or is there just, do you have special cuts of meat, or is it just that's,
No, nothing special, like, the special cut meat. No, it's just like the regular, sirloin. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like if you go to the West Coast of the United States, they don't know what steak tips are, right? So, and that's why I'm asking, are there like special cuts of meat, or is there anything that's unique about a Brazilian meat market? But I'm really excited because, Burlington has been looking for, fresh cuts of meat in a meat market such as this for a very long time. So I think this is a great addition to the community.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank
So it would be top sirloin, like you say, then you use what else? Mostly of, that we sell the most, that it would be like, top sirloin cut, it'd be meat to, the Brazilian community experience, like, I think like all of us, like, the cook, like, pressure, this type of meat's not like nothing special. That's pretty much what we have here right now.
Great, thank you.
Greg, no?
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Tony Ann?
So the meat is all fresh, not packaged? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, we come in a package, it'll be packaged, so we don't deliver in a package, then we open and you
But you
sell
cut
per
it
person.
there?
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
fresh,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I just was curious.
What will your hours be?
7 to 9.
Okay. Open late, that's nice. About how many employees will you
3.
have? 3?
Yeah, we have one in the registry, one in the back, one in the meat area, and one organizing the shelves.
And how often do you get deliveries?
You're probably gonna get, just say like twice a week.
Okay. And how does that typically happen? Is it large truck, smaller vehicles?
Say it'd be like, usually they use let's say the pallet, you're probably gonna get like probably like 2 pallets a week.
Okay. And did that typically happen within the 7 to 9, you said, the 7 to 9 business hours?
Yes, correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jeremy. I'm so sorry. What questions do you have, Jeremy?
I don't have any questions. Everything I was going to ask has been asked, so thank you for answering.
I have one other question. So would the deliveries go in the back of where it is? That's what I was just
Right.
curious. So is it going to be in the back area?
Yes. You do have like a dock there already, you'd be in the back.
Okay. Oh, that's what I was curious. Okay.
Okay. This is a public meeting. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? No, seeing none online. Okay, may I have a motion? Actually,
We need to.
yeah, we need to close,
We
yeah.
need to close the public.
Yeah.
So,
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on this matter.
Second?
Rappaport?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
LaRue?
Yes.
Sutherland?
Yes,
Natola?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
So motion to close is 6-0.
Welcome to Burlington, sir.
motion,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd further like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the request of Vittoria Meat Market for a special permit pursuant to Section 4.2.6.2 Convenience Store of the Town of Burlington zoning bylaws to permit the use of an existing tenant space for a retail convenience store specializing in Brazilian groceries, vegetables, fruits, etc., for property located in the General Business District and Central Business Overlay District at 226 Cambridge Street, AKA 232 Cambridge Street, subject to the terms and conditions in Exhibit A attached.
Second.
Roll call?
Sorry. Rappaport. Yes. Ryan.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Natola.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Welcome to Burlington.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now that we have
Okay.
all members present, I think we'll take item 2 on our agenda off the table. If I could have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we take item 2 off the agenda, off the table.
Is there a second?
Rappaport.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Natola.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Okay. In accordance with Section 2.1 of the Burlington Planning Board Rules and Regulations, at the first regularly scheduled meeting following the annual town election at which all the board members are present, the board shall elect from among its members a chairman, vice chairman, and a member clerk, each to serve until his or her successor shall be elected and qualified. At the same meeting, the chairman shall make appointments to subcommittees and/or commissions as required by town bylaws or as requested by another town board or authority. At this time, the board will elect a new chair, vice chair, and member clerk. The board will make the appointments to subcommittees during the time for discussion. So first up is Planning Board Chair. If somebody would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to nominate Brenda Rappaport for Planning Board Chair.
Second?
Ryan.
Was this just on the motion, or are we voting for it? I just want to make sure I understand.
Voting for.
Voting for, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So Ryan, Greg Ryan.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Sutherland.
No.
Impemba.
Yes.
Natola.
Yes.
Harrington.
No.
Okay, so
Brenda doesn't?
Brenda, sorry. Okay.
Okay. So the vote is 5-0.
Yep.
Okay, so
Okay.
with that, we will shuffle around and then continue the meeting on.
We can do that, or
Okay, or do you do the next? Okay. Next up is the Planning Board Vice Chair. If we have a motion for nomination.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Barbara Lou for Planning Board Vice Chair.
I don't think I can second that.
Is there a second?
A second.
Rappaport.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes?
Sutherland.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Natola.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Vote is 7-0. And next up is Planning Board Member Clerk. Would somebody like to make a motion to nominate? Can I make a motion?
One of you new guys?
I nominate Tony.
Yeah.
Please don't.
She
Second.
did a phenomenal job.
Second.
I think, does somebody else want to be the chair?
The clerk.
The clerk.
Clerk? Clerk? Do you
Okay,
want to be a
You
Jeremy?
just signed the bond with the special permit.
No? Okay, I'll be it.
Roll call.
Rappaport. Ryan.
Yes.
LaRue.
Yes.
Sutherland.
Yes.
Impemba.
Yes.
Natola.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. So I'm just going to stay where I am? I think only you two have.
Just make sure to grab your name plate, and we'll deal with the, for the next time.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Thank you.
Pass that down to Jess. Such a hard job.
You were perfect. You were perfect. I want to congratulate Madam Chair and Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, I am.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to take items 8B, 8C, and 8D together.
Does anybody second that motion?
Oh, second.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yeah.
LaRue?
You did this.
Oh, just kidding.
Yes.
Rappaport?
Yes.
Impemba?
Yes.
Matola?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
Okay, so 7-0 to take the item together for discussion purposes.
Okay, item B is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 12.1.5 PD special permit of the zoning bylaws. 0 Middlesex Turnpike, NWP Buildings 15 LLC is the applicant. Item C is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 1.6.7, discharge from man-made structures into the wetlands of the Northwest Park Plan Development District, PD zoning bylaws, 0 Middlesex Turnpike, NWP Building 15 LLC is the applicant. Item D is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 1.4.6, fast food orders establishment drive-through service prohibited of the Northwest Park Plan Development District, PD zoning bylaws, 0 Middlesex Turnpike, Cracked Burlington LLC is the applicant. Good evening. Who's here on behalf of these items?
Crosby Norblom with Norblom and Company.
And Todd Fremont Smith with Norblom Company. And then we have,
Yeah, and we have Danny Azzarello and Alan Fradi from Cracked, and then we also have Joe White from BSC.
Great.
Appreciate all your time, and I'll appreciate my wife for putting down both my kids tonight. So we're here to you. We have a small retail site in Northwest Park that we've been searching for some time to bring in a local operator for. And it's been a journey, but I think we found the right fit for the site. And so I'll let Todd kind of kick off a little bit with
Sure.
history of the site.
Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Yeah, this is the site in front of Lifetime Living on the corner of 4th Avenue. It's indicated by the yellow star on the screen for those watching at home. This process started back in 2021. It seems like time flies. I don't know what, 4 years ago we started talking about this building. That's the rendering on which we got our permits. When I look back on that compared to the renderings we're doing today, it was pretty amazing. Building was constructed as designed. It was very, very pretty. It's actually the leading multifamily building in the market. We're getting requests all the time from other developers to come out and tour the building to see the finishes and how we did it, how we built it out of light gauge metal, and it's 100% leased other than the model unit. And as the board will remember, anyone who lives in this building is an automatic member of the Lifetime Fitness Club next door. At that time, in 2021, we had always envisioned a building on the corner of 4th Avenue. This is a drawing from 2021 that I brought, that dredged up. The board was not opposed to a small cafe or something on that location, but was opposed to a drive-through at that location and asked us to remove that building from the site plan that was ultimately approved, which we did. The board also asked for significant landscaping along the Middlesex Turnpike frontage with stone walls and trees, a real investment along that frontage, as well as a public art pad, which is yet to be, we've installed the pad, but we've been concentrating our art, I'll tell you in a minute, on 3rd Avenue. We do still owe some kind of vertical art installation at that location. So here was the building we showed the board. Again, it was not, my recollection was not a real reaction against this idea of a building on the corner, but it was the drive-through at that location near the intersection and right on Middlesex Turnpike, which was objectionable. So
Yeah, and so we've been searching for the right fit, and it's taken us a couple of years, and we've been focused. We have not wanted a large chain operator. We've wanted a local operator with real character, personal mission to get a breakfast burrito within walking distance. But as you may recall, Todd took up a measure to try to get a retail drive-through for a very high-quality cafe a year or so ago. Took it to the town, we discussed it, and I think it was collectively decided it didn't feel like the right fit and presence. So we went back to the drawing board and went searching for a different operator that wouldn't require the drive-through aspect.
So just to go back, on the original drawing, you see the cars queued up around the building. I think that's what the board didn't want to see. So we took the cars out and, let me go back one, and just put the little building there. The building, by the way, is 2,500 square feet. It's very small.
Yeah, and Joe will get to it, but most of the site is already constructed, and part of the rendering that you had before and the improvements, that the site is already developed, essentially. It's ready for a building. So we found Cracked. This is really a ground lease for them to construct the building. But we love these types of partnerships, and so we're stepping in and helping them with the process. And as the town does, we feel very passionately about what this building should look like, because it's really at the cornerstone of Northwest Park and along Middlesex Turnpike. So there's been a lot of care into the design and function of the building, taking into account the needs of Cracked. We've worked a lot with Liz and Caleb. And so Norbon brought in Stantec to design the building and to work with Cracked. And so these are some of the general finishes that Stantec, same firm that did the Lifetime Living apartments, we wanted it to tie with that building. So some renderings as to what they've drawn up at the end of the day. And there'll be a patio out front. Again, Danny and team can get into their operations, but the intent is really, how do we create something that is very walkable within Northwest Park? Our office population can walk to this facility, same with others coming from Lifetime Fitness. It's a 2-minute walk to get over there at the end of the day.
So the reason we're going to pivot to art is because, first of all, we love to talk about art. So Northwest Park is doing a multi-year curated program with NISA, New England Sculpture Association. We've done 2 sculptures to date. We've just purchased our third. We did our third round, which is a giant dragonfly, metal dragonfly, which we'll be putting up on 3rd Avenue. I think it's 3rd Avenue is what we're thinking, this summer. So we'll have an event for that. We have been focusing on 3rd Avenue. We do want to push out into the park with more geometric forms and more modern art, kinetic art. But on 3rd Avenue, the theme has been family-friendly art. So some kids were just climbing on the whale today, actually, as we left. The reason I bring this up is on this building, we have some building surfaces that do not want to be glass walls. They want to be sort of solid walls because we've got kitchens and trash rooms and things behind. So we've been thinking about this for a while, about some of the blank walls at Northwest Park, and we've got a proposal now from Beyond Walls. Beyond Walls is a urban mural nonprofit out of Lynn, Massachusetts, which has done dozens of murals in Lynn. They've done dozens of murals in Providence, Rhode Island. And we're going to be instituting, we're 99% sure, an annual artistic competition with them as well, to bring more art into the park. If anyone's been to Miami, there's a project there called Wynwood Walls, and it's now the #1 tourist attraction in Miami, where at first an industrial park owner tried to shoo away all the graphic artists and then realized he couldn't stop it. And then he invited them in, and it's become a world-class, you should Google it, it's WYNWOOD, Wynwood Walls. It's quite amazing. It's an outdoor museum, really, and it's, as I said, #1. So we're working with Beyond Walls, again, not to do it ourselves, not to find artists ad hoc, but to have a real group that does this full-time that can help curate the art. So on this Cracked building, there is an opportunity for that, two of those blank walls we could participate in an annual call for art and do some sort of art on that corner that can change over time. I should also say that that masonry is designed in such a way that in the future, it can come out and glass can go back in. So there's nothing we're doing here that just because this user doesn't need that corner to face out, to be outward facing, it doesn't mean we can't make the building, retrofit the building to be more glassy in the future. So
yeah, and as I said, we've worked a lot with Liz and Caleb and with the Cracked team to try to figure out, this building, every face of the building has a very important function. And for Cracked, they can talk about it a little bit, but that southbound traffic is really important to them. That's where the breakfast burrito demand comes from. And so there is a quote-unquote side of the building that can't be glass, as Todd was saying, and turning that into a real opportunity to start this mural program in Northwest Park and expand it from there. What you see here is it's a rendering that Stantec put together, but there would be a real process where they would do a call for offers, and they would really artistically drive the process. Yeah.
So with that, I think we'll bring up the engineer, and I'll stop storytelling here. If you want to do it.
Good evening, members of the board. as Todd and Crosby mentioned. Joe White from BSC Group. We're the engineers on the project, as well as landscape architects. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the site design. I'll keep it pretty brief and then just answer some questions if needed. So as these guys mentioned, a lot of the site design was done as part of the Lifetime Living project, at least the thought behind it. It wasn't all permitted then, but so for stormwater management, you can see the blue lines there, and then kind of on the top right of that screen, the blue rectangle. So that's all stormwater management structures and detention system that's already been installed in the parking lot out there and under the parking lot of Lifetime Living. And the pipe there that connects to the orange line work is a pipe that was already constructed and was just stubbed off at this site. So we'd be able to tie in whenever this site was developed. At the time, we weren't sure exactly what that would look like. So stormwater management design for this, this part of the site wasn't too challenging. We really only have to add a couple of structures and tie in a roof drain. And that design that was done as part of Lifetime Living, was designed with extra capacity in mind to be able to handle stormwater runoff from this site. So we can go to the next slide. As far as utilities, same idea. With some kind of forward thinking in mind, we had, during construction of Lifetime Living, utilities stubbed into the site from 4th Ave. So, there wouldn't need to be additional construction out 4th Ave to get to this site. So water, sewer, electric were all stubbed into the site. Because it ended up being a food use for the site, there'll need to be a grease trap installed. So that's shown on there, just tying into the existing sewer line. And then gas and electric haven't been brought into the site yet, but those are typically brought in by local utility companies, so we would work with them to make that happen. So go ahead, next slide. Yeah, and this is just kind of a rendering of our landscape plan. If you've been by the site, a lot of the landscaping is already there, so we worked to try to maintain as much as we could as far as trees and existing plantings and the stone walls that Todd and Crosby had mentioned. We had to relocate a couple of trees. One thing you'll see is the dumpster location. We put a lot of thought into where that could go. There were only a couple of spots, and we felt that, the best screening opportunity would be kind of up in that corner. And we'd be able to surround that with some landscaping and trees and some fencing, and that would be the most kind of accessible spot, to empty those dumpsters. That's it. I'll talk about parking, I guess, a little bit. I know Liz and Caleb and our team had talked quite a bit about parking. So the parking lot that's kind of shown vertically to the right, that's already been constructed on site. So that was permitted as part of the Lifetime Living project. So we're really just adding the kind of horizontal piece, if you will, up there, yep, where the cursor is. So 19 total parking spaces, 60 total seats, and the crack team will get into that a little bit more, but it would be a combination of indoor and outdoor seating on the patio there. And then we're going to have 3 short-term parking spaces, which would be like 15 minutes or less for, your Uber Eats, DoorDash, that type of thing. And they would be the 3 spaces, they're not marked on this sheet, yep, those top 3 right there. That's what we're thinking right now. So the site entrance and exit would be to 4th Ave. So coming out of the parking lot, going back to 4th Ave, it's a left turn only, because if you take a right, that puts you in the Lifetime Living parking lot. So left turn only, then left turn onto 4th Ave, and then out to Middlesex Turnpike. That's really all I have on layout. If there's any specific questions, as far as the design goes, be happy to answer them, but.
And to note that all the lots between Lifetime Fitness, Lifetime Living, the apartment buildings, and this lot are very clearly bifurcated. We haven't seen any issues to date in terms of Lifetime Fitness folks parking in the residential lot. We monitor that very closely, and we've paid particular attention to the operation on this site. We have sufficient parking built in on site to accommodate this building, but we're directing traffic at you can see a left-hand turn only, so that people can't be cutting through the residential lot. They'll go back out to 4th Ave and can exit at the light. Will also be, again, the parking on site is sufficient for this building, but there will be overflow parking as we do for the retail tenants up at 3rd Ave. that there will be off-site, if you will, parking within Northwest Park for employees as needed. And I'll invite Danny and Alan, if he wants to come up and give a brief presentation on Cracked.
Make some space.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm Danny Azzarello.
And I'm Alan Fraddy.
Yep, perfect. And together we're Crack Kitchen. So we launched Cracked in 2019. Our first location was in Andover. What you see on the board is kind of what we go by every day. Our team, really holds us to accountable to what we do. Culture, our team is all about culture. That's what we do on a daily basis. Operational excellence, those are things that we stand by, whether it's dumpster cleaning, refrigeration cleaning, quality of food, quality of people, the customer experience. Operationally, that's something we focus on. I'll let Alan kind of touch base on Inspire Innovation because it's really something you do on a daily basis as well.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely try to adapt to the communities that we're in, seasonality. We're constantly looking to change our menu. We like to source local ingredients when possible, focus on seasonality. So we're not necessarily that cookie cutter concept that everything looks the same in every location, kind of what you might see with some more nationwide chains. We're definitely more localized, community focused. But we always try to reinvent ourselves and, adapt to the times, so.
Awesome. Doing the right thing, something important by us. We never cut corners. We're always doing by the book. Keep it simple. That's just something that helps operationally. Just make sure things are smooth. So we never try to overcomplicate. We're not sous videing anything. We're just, cooking eggs and getting that food out. Giving back is important to us. We're always involved with community, whether we're doing dine-ins. We have a food trailer called the Yolks Wagon that we'll bring to the senior graduations and give out free lemonades. But we're definitely really involved with the schools and, teacher appreciation, whatever it might be.
Yeah, just being involved in the communities that we operate in.
Yep. And lastly, which is most important, is positive energy. We always say every day, we usually get up around 4 a.m. We're in the restaurants, we're cooking bacon and getting ready. And the first person that walks in the door, our job is to make their day better leaving than when they came in. Nobody likes to wake up at 6 a.m., so we try to, really get their day going on a positive note. But that's kind of our Cracked credo that we go by every day. Next, we can touch base on the menu.
Yeah, so as we kind of referenced, this is our menu. We primarily focus on breakfast and lunch. Right now, our menu mix is actually pretty split between both. 50% of our volume comes at breakfast time, the other half comes at lunchtime. We focus on breakfast sandwiches. That was the original thing that kind of inspired us and got us started. So we feature an assortment of kind of house-made craft breakfast sandwiches. And then we have everything from healthy bowls, grain bowls, salads, smoothies, and then some more indulgent items like loaded hash browns and french fries and chicken tenders and fried chicken sandwiches. So,
Can I do it all?
Yep.
Next slide. So in terms of design, we have about 40 seats on the inside, 20 seats in the patio. Our goal really in the inside, when you walk in, you'll see these vibrant yellow colors. We have these egg lights that hang down from the ceiling with pallets. These blue cage lights, you can see them right there. We're about 70% glass here. We're glass on almost every single side. So our goal is to really kind of see that experience happening before you walk in. So you walk in and you hear the noise of the pans flipping and the smells of the bacon and the coffee brewing. So it's definitely an experience that happens at the front door and even before that. But we're super excited just to be into Burlington. I mean, we've been looking in Burlington for God knows how long, and it's definitely a great opportunity for us, and we feel like we'll be able to deliver to the community as well.
Where are you located now?
We have one in Andover, Mass., Salem, New Hampshire, Peabody, Mass., and Plantation, Florida. Yep. So.
Just curious, what brought you to Plantation, Florida, and the rest are up here?
Yeah,
Your summer home escape?
At some point. We've always liked the Florida market. It's definitely First Watch is a competitor of ours. They do really well down there. And so we went down there with hopes that we could grow that market. And so far, Plantation has done really well. We, it's Alan and myself, and we have a few partners, but we pretty much control the operations with our wives as well. And so we like to take it slow and make sure that we're grounded, we're stabilized, and we like what we see. So Florida is just a great market, and it's ever growing. The economy's booming down there. And so we'll plan to continue to develop Florida as well. But, yeah. What else? We did that. And that's about it. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. Oh, thank you.
Staff?
Sure. So we definitely have been working with this team for a while, and I know that this is a long time coming. We're trying to find the right fit for this property. Staff has been, talked about parking. We know that they've got off-site parking for employees. We did definitely work with them to encourage that transparency, because you want to see things coming, you want to have you don't want to have a blank wall on Middlesex Turnpike. We are working, there's, the town does have, did receive a grant for improvements on Middlesex Turnpike. And so that is in the beginning stages. And so Middlesex Turnpike for pedestrian and bike facilities, so off-road facilities. And so we're still talking with the team at Norblum to kind of figure out the best way to kind of partner on that. And so that is an ongoing conversation that I think is good for both of us, because things like this benefit them, definitely benefits us. So I think, we want to partner with them on that. So stay tuned for that. Let's see. Is there anything I'm missing, Caleb?
I think you covered it all.
And they're just opening, and we have new members, so we're not anticipating a vote tonight. That is all I have.
Great. I'll start with you, Vice Chair LaRue.
Okay, yes, I have some questions. First of all, I'm very excited that you're coming to Burlington. I love breakfast. I could eat it all day long, so I'll be coming by. Just a few questions. What will your hours be?
We're opening at 6 a.m. and closing at 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we'll be closing at 3 p.m.
Okay. And how many employees do you expect to have at any given time?
At the minimum, about 4, and then at the max, about 10.
And you have off-site parking for all of them?
We do, yes. Yep.
Great. And now I have questions that might actually be more for Todd.
Sure.
Is the intention with the mural that it will be tied to the business that's in the building, or is
No,
it just a
I
mural?
don't think so. I think it's more just a place for art, and then
Okay.
we'll curate the art.
Terrific. The Public Arts Committee is actually working on a community mural project, so
Okay,
I'm
great.
just really
Great
excited
minds
to
think
see what
alike.
you're doing there. Ours is going to be community created, so
Okay.
it's probably going to be a little
Yeah.
different, but I'm excited to hear about doing that. And then I had another question that's not related to this, but rather to Lifetime Living, and I don't want an answer tonight, if maybe
Yep.
you could get back to staff.
Yes.
I think the last time you were before us, you were not at 100% rented, and I was curious if you could let us know at some point about the affordable units that we
Yes.
had negotiated, if you could let us know the percentage of, or not the number of units that are actually taken by Burlington residents, because that was
I can
the
report
intent.
back. I don't have it with me.
No, I don't expect you to
Okay,
have it
thank
with you,
you.
but if you could let staff know.
Sure.
That would be
yeah,
great, because
yeah.
that was the.
I know there was overwhelming demand for those units. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications for 23. I thought over 600 applications for 23 units.
Wow.
Crazy. So.
Okay, so I'd just be curious to know how it fleshed
How
out.
it broke out,
Actually
yep.
broke down in
Yep.
the end, and how many
Okay.
were Burlington
Sure.
residents, because that was
Okay.
our hope. I know we couldn't actually restrict it that way.
Right. We ran
But-
into fair housing laws.
Right,
yeah.
right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member Papa?
No, I'm good, I'm excited. Yeah,
We don't really have a breakfast place like this in a park of 300 acres, so
we
it's.
don't have it anywhere in Berlin. I
Yeah,
mean,
right,
really.
right.
I mean, there's a couple of places, but not like this.
Of this
is a little more
quality.
unique. You can
Yeah.
sit, you can have, yeah, no, I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
I had one question. I saw on the map that it said the sidewalks and it was going to connect through that walk-in area. So I didn't get the picture real good, but is it going to be in the back way, the walk-in area? You know how Third Ave all connects through the back, or is it in the front, or?
You're talking about the path from Fourth Ave there?
Yeah. from Fourth Ave, is it going to go through the back? I'm trying to see where the entrance was. Is it the front?
Oh,
the
sorry,
back?
the main entrance, sorry.
Yeah.
The main entrance is at the top right corner right there,
Okay.
To the store.
to the store.
Okay,
Entrance,
the
the
store.
vehicular entrance is at the top left of the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it goes to the street that's, okay, so.
To Fourth
is
Avenue,
over
yeah,
there. I'm
it's-
trying to picture it. I'm definitely going to drive by. I'm
Okay,
excited.
sure.
I think it's going to be.
You can see, if you drive by, you can see right where it's
I
going to
was
go.
going to
Yeah.
go look at that for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of the idea of, I think it's beneficial operationally from Cracked, but just to have a direct means of access to the building for pedestrians from Fourth Ave without having to cross the parking lot.
Sure.
So.
Great. Member Ryan, do you have anything?
Actually, I have a couple questions. On the no left turn, or the left turn only, people coming in, because they can theoretically take a left on the Fourth Ave, take a right, go all the way to Lifetime Fitness. People sometimes aren't the best at following direction. How much of an issue do you think it's going to be for people taking that right-hand turn? To go to, they want to go to Lifetime Fitness, but they want their bacon, egg, and cheese before they go to Lifetime Fitness.
Our sense is it's the opposite flow, that people are eating after they do their workout. But we do monitor it very closely. We have staff on site, and we're prepared to put in additional signage if needed. The site has worked pretty well to date with the apartment buildings and Lifetime Fitness there, and the limited amount of through traffic, I think we've been pleasantly surprised. But there's always going to be people that are going to break the rules. But we don't envision that there's going to be material issues, but we have the staff and additional mechanisms if there are too many rule breakers, if you will.
Okay, and then from that point, so how many units are at Lifetime?
167.
167. And how many, in your ideal world, your perfect restaurant, how many customers a day do you serve? And if those customers are bookend in the morning, is that going to create a bottleneck at the corner of Fourth Ave and Middlesex Turnpike with the amount of traffic?
I wouldn't think so. That's a major traffic light that's new. It's 10 years old or something, and it's also part of the adaptive signal control system on Middlesex Turnpike. So those lights can be retimed to let more cars or fewer cars. In fact, I think it should be retimed. I see a lot of bottleneck in the morning trying to get into Lifetime Fitness. Once they turn onto Fourth Avenue, they're just going to turn into could there be bottlenecks in this parking lot? Yeah.
Yeah, and then turning left, they go left, then left back out onto
Right.
Fourth Ave trying to turn.
Right. Oh, you're saying coming out.
Is Fourth Ave going to be now backed up?
Yeah, I'm not.
We've had BSC.
Let the engineer talk. You want to talk about that?
They did do a traffic study.
I mean, how many cars can fit from the light to the exit of the parking lot?
So I don't know that number offhand. We can definitely figure that out. We did include a full traffic report in our memo. And based on, so there's two different methods, just, we look at parking, right? I understand your question is not necessarily related to parking. There's two different methods we use to look at parking for this site specifically, one based on square feet of the building, and then one based on number of seats. And between the two methods, based on the square footage of the building, it says that this site wants to be 25 parking spaces. Based on 60 seats, it says 15 parking spaces. So we feel like we have the capacity there as far as parking goes. But to answer your question about queuing, I mean, we can look at how many cars you can feasibly fit if, I mean, there's only 19 spaces here, right? So if we're full, how many of those are leaving at the same time?
At the same time, I would think.
I guess is the question. I don't have the answer as to how many spaces can queue on Fourth Ave right now. We can find that out, you know.
What's that?
For the next meeting?
Yeah. Sure. And I mean, and you also won't be able to make that left onto Fourth Ave until that traffic clears, right? So if there's a
Well, that's my point, is it going to get back further up? And which goes back to if you have somewhere between 4 employees and 10 employees, setting aside for a moment how much business you expect to do, what is your capacity, right? So if you're full, but you're operating efficiently, you have more cars coming in, you have more cars. I'm hoping this is the case, actually. You have cars parking in that first Lifetime Living section, so you actually have more cars and more people because you're busy. So that would be 19 spaces for the restaurant is fine, but not necessarily for the turnover. You're going to have a lot of cars coming in and out if they're all getting it to go.
Yeah, I mean, the parking space count is based on our traffic numbers in our traffic study that we did, as far as the parking. But the queuing is a little bit separate because there's queuing that occurs not just from this restaurant, right? Because there's queuing coming from the rest of Northwest Park and from Lifetime Living. Employees will be parked off-site. They won't be parked here. So the 19 spaces will be strictly for customers for the site. And again, we can look at the queuing spaces, how many can fit. I don't have that number right now, but.
I think our experience in Northwest Park is, I drive that intersection every day, that the light turns over, every minute or so, and that there is a right-hand only turn on Middlesex Turnpike, so that traffic flows freely. And the amount of traffic coming off of a site like this, I'm not a site engineer, would be probably a handful of cars maybe every 5 minutes. So if you think that a car is leaving every 30-second or minute, which would be an incredible amount of volume.
Our average turnaround time is anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. We're not Starbucks and we're not Dunkin's. We can't turn around that fast. Everything is made on demand, so you come in, you're typically waiting between 6 to 10 minutes. And on our average locations, we see anywhere between 30 to 45 customers an hour is what we typically see.
Do you do mobile orders?
We do mobile orders. It's not tremendous, but we do it, yeah. And our third-party delivery is about 5% of our sales.
In your peak hours, Director, in the morning when most people are going to work.
Yes,
versus that amount of people that are leaving on 4th Ave would be primarily.
And I think you'll see here, like we see in our Andover location, we have a CrossFit across the street. All those people will go to CrossFit, they'll get done, they'll walk over, and they'll walk back. Most of those people in the fitness area, they're not getting their cars to drive back over. They're typically kind of.
So Lifetime Fitness is going to need more parking.
Yeah, that's their problem, right? Or fewer members.
Well, that was my thought, actually. It's probably going to be a lot of walk.
I would think so. I
Between
mean,
there and the apartments and all the,
yeah, one of the reasons why we love this site was just the walking factor. Just you have Northwest Park, you have Third Ave, you have Lifetime, you have residents. I mean, there's just, during the spring and summertime, that's why we were talking about the patio. The patio is so important to us as well because during the nicer seasons, that will be utilized.
Do you anticipate putting bike racks out, knowing that you're going to have a lot of walkability, a lot of folks going from, kind of commercial sectors to this spot?
Can you say that one more time, sorry?
Bike racks?
Bike racks. We have bike racks throughout Northwest Park, including at 3rd Ave. As a cyclist, I wish they got utilized more. You rarely see cyclists parking their bikes in the area. If the demand elsewhere in Northwest Park were there, we would certainly install them here. We've seen just less of that.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry, Member Ryan, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Member Sutherland? Yes, so for your traffic study, what peak hour was that created off of?
See if I have it in front of me here. I don't have the full report here, but I can definitely get that answer
Okay,
for you.
that'd be great. I'm just curious because I think you guys are going to be very popular.
Yep.
And you have, obviously, the folks leaving Lifetime that go there very early. And although the walkover from Lifetime, they will use their vehicle to then exit Lifetime. And then you have people also simultaneously over the next couple of hours back and forth with work. And so I just think I would be curious where the traffic study, which time period that was based off of.
Sure.
I am excited to see both the combination of wall exterior and window exterior. I think that'll be great. And I did see you had some bollards accounted for in the outdoor seating area, but not on the side of the building right next to parking where there's a lot of windows. I would personally like to see bollards, especially when you have parking right there, literally right next to the building. It would be great to see bollards in front of the parking, especially protect all the glass walls.
And we did talk about that side of the building a little bit. We don't have a grading plan up here, so that parking lot to the right, the vertical one, if you will, that's about a foot, maybe a little bit more in some spots, lower than the, it's actually about 1.5 feet lower than the building floor elevation. So for a car to get up there, you're hopping a curb, and then there's another foot up to the building. So you have a foot of, a concrete pad of that building as well, but understood on the bollards.
Yeah.
Curb stops or something?
Good.
And then I am really happy to hear that, you all are really trying to embrace foot traffic, bike traffic. So I think just the comment that, especially as hopefully, Member Ryan said, you all will continue to grow and be very popular. I think all the more reason to support staff's request for that easement to really help with that multimodal traffic. And so I think that would be a really great addition to that area. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Member Harrington.
Hi. So first of all, very exciting. I have run restaurants before, and I have seen the benefit of having a large apartment complex built next to a restaurant I've helped run. And as far as traffic, I know it's been called out, but what I found in my experience is that the people who live in the apartment building actually tend to come in slightly off-peak, which mitigates some of the possible traffic and flow because their time to get to the restaurant's much shorter. So I am interested in the traffic study, but I think there's a unique factor here that might not play out, that will play out that's not in most traffic studies. I do have a question. I heard you mention that this was a ground lease. So is Craft owning the building then in this case? And how long is that lease? Because those are normally quite long leases.
Yep, correct. They will be building the building. The initial term is 15 years with the renewal options. So it's a long-term partnership.
Very good. Okay. That was my main question. So thank you.
Great. I don't have anything else really to add. I guess just one quick question. In the male and female bathroom, is there changing stations in both?
Yeah, there's actually 3 restrooms in this facility, and yes, both.
Great, great. I don't have anything else at this time. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to continue this hearing to the planning board meeting of May 1st, 2025.
Second.
Sutherland?
Yep.
Ryan?
Yes.
LaRue?
Yes?
Rappaport?
Yes.
Impemba?
Yes.
Natola?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Have a good evening, folks. Okay, moving on. Do we have any minutes this evening?
No, I'll send those to you for the next meeting.
Great, thank you. Let's move on to discussion. So we have several subcommittees that we need to reassign at this point. So each assignment will require a motion to appoint. Has everyone had an opportunity to take a look at these, or does anyone have any questions about the requirements for any of these committees?
No.
Okay, so let's start with Land Use Committee. This is the third Monday of each month at 7 PM. Is there any volunteers that would like to nominate themselves? Seeing no one, so we'll table that one. Zoning Bylaw Review Committee, second Wednesday of each month. This is online or in person. 6:30, second Wednesday. Would anyone like to appoint themselves?
Well, weren't you going to ask Ernie about something?
Oh, no, he would just be like a participant.
Yeah, he can't liaise for them.
We're going to,
Okay, moving on to Recreation Committee, Monday in person at 6 PM. It's in the school committee room. This also has a separate board, so please keep that in mind. Would anyone like to nominate themselves?
What do you mean a separate board?
They have like a chair or a vice chair, or they have a full board. It's not just a casual conversation kind of thing.
And there's extra money.
And there's a
extra money.
stipend as well. So I am currently the liaison, but somebody will need to take that over. So just to let you know, if we don't have volunteers for some of these, I'm going to have to appoint people. Just throwing that out there. Housing Partnership.
I'll still be on it, but they haven't had any meetings.
So, Tony Ann, is there another, since they haven't had any meetings, is there another
Yes.
committee that you?
I was going to ask if I could be on the high school building committee, because I seem to go to them anyway, so I wouldn't mind being one of the people following that.
Okay, so I will get down to that one.
Okay.
Economic Development Committee, there is currently no standing meeting. Is there anyone that would like to liaison that?
Sure, I'll do it.
I would.
And
Okay.
I was going to even say, I'd even, where there's no standing time or whatever, if I could make it, I'll do it also.
Okay. so-
Yeah, I'm interested in economic as well. I don't know if that was heard when Greg spoke.
Yep, thank you. Police Station Building Committee, I would like to remain on that. Is there anyone else that would like to join me in this one?
I would like to remain on that committee. if
Okay.
possible.
So we'll stay there. High School Building Committee, again, there's no standing committee. We have Member Natola. Is there anyone else that would like to join?
I would
like to remain on that.
Okay.
If you need a third person, I would love to do it, but if other people want to do it, I'm fine with that.
I don't know that we need a third person, but,
Okay.
I mean, you're welcome to. I mean, we had three before.
Well, I sit in
just
on,
don't-
I sit in on it anyway, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Public Arts Committee. Barbara, I feel
yeah,
like that's your baby. and-
I'll fight anyone who wants to do it for me.
All right, so break out the boxing gloves. Does anyone else want to join Barbara in the fight for art?
No,
I think maybe Nordblum would.
Okay, so
It's good.
that leaves land use, zoning bylaw, recreation.
If it wasn't on a Monday, Mondays are my worst day at work regularly, I would have said yes, but Mondays, I'd be taking.
Is that every Monday?
No, it's it's one, I believe it's once a month.
It's
No, I was looking at the Recreation Committee.
recreation.
Every Monday?
No, once a month.
No, no.
Once a month. I
Once
don't
a
know
month.
which one.
And there's extra
Once
money.
a month or twice a month?
And there's extra money.
You're really trying to sell that, aren't you, Joe?
Do you know if they
depends.
meet once a
It
month?
depends.
It depends. I
It
checked with
depends.
the head of the recreation that he said it's 1 to 2 times a month depending on, but they're always on Mondays.
Right.
Yes.
I've spent the last 7 years on the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee, so I'd like to give that to somebody else,
But-
and I'll take the Recreation.
All right, thank you,
All right.
Member Ryan. Okay, so that leaves us with zoning bylaw and land use. Mr. Mpemba,
It's online Wednesday.
can you do zoning bylaw?
I will, can you give me a,
Second Wednesday of each month, online, 6:30. I'll buy you an extra coffee every month.
That is date night
oh,
for
what
him.
is that? Yeah, Wednesdays are tough for me.
What about Monday? Well, you could take land.
Or you could take land use,
Wait, what is it?
land use third Monday, or zoning bylaw second Wednesday.
How would I think about which one, and I'll get back to you.
You got a coin you can flip.
You're killing me. Is there anyone else that will take on land use or zoning bylaw?
So is economic development now Jeremy Harrington and Greg Ryan?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
So Tony's into, I'm in one, but the,
I'll get two. Chair doesn't usually do as many,
correct,
too much work.
correct.
So what's left?
So I have land use and zoning bylaw.
Use, and they meet
This
third
one's
Monday of each month.
online, even though it's date night.
Land use doesn't have like a standing meeting, that's usually when they meet, but it's usually only for town meetings.
Mondays is my
Okay.
file day.
I could possibly do land use, possibly. The others are just hard because of my office schedule.
Okay,
Like it's 6:30 or before, it's hard for me to even get there.
all right, so I'm going to put Harrington,
This?
yep. Member in Pembroke, I'm going to throw you on zoning bylaw, and if you have a hiccup with that, we'll circle back. How's that?
All right.
Thank you, sir. That wasn't too painful. I appreciate you, everyone's efforts.
No, the economic development
when you're
one
on the zoning
that I
bylaw,
told you that I
tell them to
wanted to
hurry
be
up.
part like that, because it doesn't have a standing meeting.
But they're slow?
Can you also put my name in?
Oh, you were there to tell them to hurry all the time.
For what? For economic development?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, just so if I can make it, I'll make it. If it's a day, depending on the time.
Sure.
I don't know, just so.
She asked if
It doesn't
she
say
would
the
like to, she doesn't necessarily need to be a liaison, but she would like to participate if she was able to attend the meeting.
If I can make it, I'll make it. I just don't know if it's during the day.
Yeah.
Whatever, if I can do it, I'll do it.
In my experience, it was during the day.
What meeting? Okay, I'll see if I can do it. I'll do it.
Talking about economic development.
Economic development,
Yeah, they're not.
They're usually-
They're usually during
during
the
the day.
day, and there's usually a remote option.
Well, if it's a remote option, I
Yeah.
still might be able to do it.
Yeah, 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 we'll
Go
let
to
you
my, car.
Yep.
I don't think that we have any others if needed at this point in time, correct, staff? Okay. Moving on to the Marshall Simons Middle School Field Project.
So there's not too much of an update since the last meeting. Right now, it's still in front of Conservation. Their staff have been working with the project team and kind of this school staff on that. So kind of just as a reminder that there is a proposal to put 2 new turf fields in the back of the middle school. And there's working through some of the conservation comments, questions, concerns that they have. And based off the plans that it will need, eventually it will come to this board for both special permit and minor engineering change based off of the plans that we've seen so far. And that's the update we have.
Great. Fox Hill Project? Sorry, can I ask a quick question on that? Are they on schedule, off schedule?
I wouldn't.
I would say
They're not on schedule.
Off schedule.
they're still working through.
They're working it out.
Okay.
And we'll give updates as we hear them to you all.
Okay. Moving on to Fox Hill Project.
So they have submitted officially for site plan review. They are on track to open with this board at the May 15th meeting. We're going through our review right now of it. It's going out to all the other town departments. This will go to Concom, Board of Health for everything kind of relevant. They've been definitely on their schedule with kind of their deadlines. So we're working with them, and that site plan has been submitted.
Yeah, they have 7 white 3-ring binders for you filled with information, so if you want to come by the office, pick it up, but it's not going to be a one and done meeting, so you'll be able to peruse it once they open with us.
Can you have those available for May 1st?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if folks can't come in.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
absolutely. Yeah, we can have those
Please.
ready, but they, make sure to bring them back. But,
And
yes.
those will also be, as with all of our project, all the permits to go before you, all of those materials will also be online to be
Yeah.
viewed, so you don't have to look at them on
Whole
paper.
binder will be?
Everything
It's
that we
yeah,
get.
Jen will put everything online.
Wow.
She's amazing.
Great. Planning board picture, May 1st.
Is everybody going to be here?
Yep.
God willing.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Moving on to the subcommittee reports. Recreation Commission for Overlook Park Project. I don't have anything to update at this time. Do you have?
I can certainly update. Again, I have been working with the project team as well as staff from the Parks and Rec Department. There is a project for some major enhancements to Overlook Park. Again, they are in the process of submitting right now, so I don't have the exact time of when they will come to this board, but they will be appearing before you either at the second May meeting or the first meeting in June. But again, they've been very responsive to staff comments up to this point.
they've been really great to work with.
And so we're kind of excited to see it, and it's one of those projects that, you look at and you're happy to see, all the little notes in the site plan, because it's good things.
Yeah, it's
That will
all
definitely help
really good things.
help the community. So we're excited about that. We'll give more updates as it gets further on in the process.
Great. Police station. Sure.
So the police station building project has hit some snags, I think it's fair to say. I think they're going to be coming to our first, our only June meeting. We'll find out in a minute if that paperwork has been properly submitted. I think that this board may need to consider adding a meeting over the summer just for the police station, if we want to try and make their schedule. And I'm not saying for sure that's going to happen, but originally they were going to come to us in April, and now they're not coming to us in June, and they want to break ground in September. So it's something that I would like the other board members to consider. We could do it online, and it would be just for that one item. Not saying it's definite, but I am concerned about their schedule, and I would like to see them be able to break ground in the fall. So that's where it stands right
What
now.
appears to be the holdup? I'm just curious.
Shall I speak plainly? I think that the project team has missed multiple deadlines. I think town administration and the police department are very frustrated with that. It's been outside of their control, but at some point, someone's going to have to bring down the hammer, I think. But it's possible, is the submission complete right now?
At this time, no.
No, okay. I don't
I was
want
just
to
curious
say
where
too
the-
much more, but it is concerning to town administration. And I know they're working really hard on it to get it back on schedule.
Gotcha.
High school building project. Caleb?
Well, I know there's a meeting that's
right
happening
now.
right now, so I don't have the most up-to-date.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
gotta
do
find
places
out
at
if
once.
it's-
Oh, wait, I just got an update. According to my source, they just voted to move forward with AR8.
Okay, let me pull that up on the
The
screen.
renovation, that's actually a new building.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I can
was
pull it up
probably
on
the best
screen.
one,
Give me one
I
moment.
think, out of all of them.
Well, I don't think
Do you
NC5
know if that
was
was-
feasible, given Concom.
Failed.
You said AR8?
That's what I'm told.
Okay,
yes,
I will
that they
pull
just
it up on
voted.
screen right now so that everyone's on the
Okay.
same page.
So that will be coming to us, I'm not sure how quickly, but it will be coming to us.
If you guys can see it on screen, this is.
Well, actually,
ad.
do they not come to us until after the town-wide vote, or do they come after the town meeting?
Oh, yeah. They need to fund it before they before they pay for site plans to be
Okay,
built, to
so
be.
it would be after the debt exclusion vote?
Yeah.
So we have,
Yeah.
That's until next year.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is, according to the project website, this is the plan that has supposedly been
I
voted and
actually think
approved.
it was the best one out of them all. Yeah.
Yeah, did the new building not make it because of the fields and Concom?
Yeah.
Well, it was wetland lines.
Was
It
it-
wasn't even Concom, it was just doing the wetland
It was all
delineation.
wet.
Yeah,
Was,
yeah.
they had a wetland scientist out there and there just wasn't enough
Yep.
space.
And they decided to nix the one where the field was between the two buildings.
Oh, it's crazy.
Okay.
Having a brand new field, too.
I just want to add, at some point, we're going to have our strategy session, right? We've kind of, haven't done that in a while.
Fall,
Yeah, we
right?
did one in the fall.
So I think let's plan for something before everyone jets off for all their fun summer vacations.
I do have a big October one, so if it goes into October, just to tell you ahead of time, I'll be gone a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just something to think about. I don't think we need to, pinpoint a date right now, but I was thinking, maybe before we hit September. So if everyone can kind of come to next meeting with just a thought of when they would like to do it, that would be great. Does anyone else have anything to add? Seeing no one, may I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Sutherland?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes?
LaRue?
Yes?
Rappaport?
Yes.
Impemba?
Yes.
Natola?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
All right.
All right. Have a good evening, folks.